Hey guys, just a tutorial, another tutorial, making Minecraft characters like me. But to be honest with you, you didn't have to make other characters. That's some bull, man. Anyway, let's start the show. Okay, to start off making the Minecraft character, we're going to go ahead and hit Command G to turn on the grid because we want to use that as our base. And I'm going to go ahead and start by creating a layer, and I'm just going to call it bottom because we want to create the bottom of the head right in the center. And I'll show you what I mean here after we've created all the sides. So I'm going to select a skin color, and I'm actually going to hit S or create shape, and I'm going to turn off auto stroke. But I'm going to make the stroke the skin color just in case we have some line cracks and stuff like that. So one of the tricks that you can do when you want to create a shape and make it expand outward from the center is hold Shift and Option and click on a point and pull it outward. Instead of just left clicking and dragging like this, we're going to put this right in the center. And I hold Shift, Option, and then pull, and we're going to make it 8 pixels by 8 pixels, which is this big. Let me hit Q. I'm going to change this color a little bit, to a lighter brown for our skin color. Like maybe that. We can change it later. Then I'm going to go ahead and with it selected, I'm going to go Style, New, and I'm just going to call this Skin Color. And this is going to be the bottom of the head. And again, I'll show you how to, or why we're putting that in the center. So with the bottom created, we'll go ahead and hit Duplicate, and we're going to call this Face. And we'll hit T and just click and drag, and you can hold Shift down so it snaps. And we're going to drag it directly above the bottom of the head. So we'll do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit S. And now I'm going to select a brown color. Oops. Actually, hit Q and select the face color. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Click off of it because we want to keep that the skin color. And then I'm going to go ahead and select none for the style because we're going to create a new one, and select brown. Then I'm going to hit S, and we're going to just draw the top of the hair on the face. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit T and grab these points and move them over. I'll hit A to add points. I'll add a point there, add a point here and drag it up. Do the same over here and add a point so we have the hair. I'll hit Q, select it, and even though it's not going to have a stroke, I'm just going to tell it to have a stroke and then turn it off. Again, just in case we get kind of cracks in our character model. And then I'll hit T, unselect. Now we'll go ahead and hit S, create a new shape. Now we'll select white, and I'm going to draw the eyes right here. So I'll draw that, hit Q, select that, new style. I'm just going to call it white of eye. I'll hit T, and it's already selected, so I can hit Command C, Command V to copy paste and move that over. And then I'll hit T and deselect everything. Then I'm going to select an eye color. Oops. Hit S for new shape, and then hit, oh, it's still on that style. So let's draw a new shape, hit S. I'll draw a square over here, hit Q, select it, deselect white of eye, none, and we'll go ahead and change this to green. I'll hit T, move that over. And you don't have to create styles for your character. I'm just doing it so I can really quickly change the color of the character. So if it's easier for you just to color in and not do styles, that's okay too. So new style, eye color. Since it's selected, copy paste. And since we're copying and pasting, that style is already on there. And then we'll go ahead and hit S. I'll draw a new shape for the mouth. I'll hit Q, select it, take off the eye color style. And we'll just do kind of a darkish brown, hit OK, style, new, I'll just call it inside mouth. And then I'll draw another square. I'm just doing it outside of the mouth just so it's easier to see. Hit Q, select it, take off the style, and we'll just do pink color, new style, tongue. Tongue. How do you spell tongue? G-U-E. I think that's right. I don't know. We'll see. So there we have the basics of the face. Then we're going to create the left and right side of the head. So I'm going to select the bottom again, and I'll hit duplicate. I'll call this left side. I hit T and move that over. We're basically going to fold this box up. So there's that. And let's go ahead and draw the hair. Now this is kind of tricky. We'll go ahead and I'm going to hit T, deselect everything. I'm going to start drawing a shape. And it's on tongue color still, so I'll hit Q and select that. Change that color to hair. Did I do hair color? I don't think I did. Okay, hold on. Let's go to face. Select that brown up there. And do new hair color. So that style is created. We're going to go ahead and hit Q, select the left side, and then change this to the hair color that we just created. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and hit A and add some points. And basically all I'm doing is making the ear shape. And let's pull this down. Can't remember exactly how it is on the Minecraft character, but we can always change it later. Let's see. Let's have the ear come in a little more. Add points. I'm going to use my mouse wheel to zoom in and pull that out. I don't know if that's right, but that looks good enough because the hairline actually is going to come down to here. So let's do that. And maybe I'm going to hit G and grab all these points and pull them back. That looks good enough. We can go ahead and change this later. So we have the side of the head, but I'm going to hit Command A and select all, and I'm going to hold Shift down and click on the inside square to rotate it, because we're going to fold these all backwards. So this is the left side. We'll go ahead and duplicate that. Call it the right side. Hit return. Hit T. We'll go ahead and drag this over, and then select inside that square, hold Shift down, and we're going to flip it. Oh, we need to flip it this way, so hit the flip horizontally. So it's like this. This is supposed to be the ear. You'll see in just a second. And then let's go ahead and select the bottom again. Hit duplicate, and we'll call this back. So this is the back of the head. Hit T, move that down. I'll hit Q and select that skin color. And we're going to turn it to hair color. Okay, and now we're going to start folding everything. But before we do that, let's go ahead and put everything in a folder. So I'll create a new group, call this head group, drag it to the top, and we're going to go ahead and select everything and drag it into the head group. And now what we need to do is start rotating these layers in 3D space. So we'll start off with the face, and what we need to do is grab these coordinates down at the bottom because we want the exact position. So I'm going to hit G and select just one of the points down here at the bottom of the head, and then I'm going to hit T, and we can see right here that the Y coordinate is 0.2222, and I always get these mixed up, so you're going to see me redoing stuff a lot. So I'm going to select the Y coordinates and do Command C to copy, and then we're going to go into the point of origin or set origin. We'll click that, and in the Y coordinates I'll hit Command V to paste, and you can see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but the pink crosshairs has moved right to the bottom of the face. So that means that when we rotate this layer, it's going to rotate right on that point. So then if I hit the rotate layer XY and then go into my XY rotation, the easiest way I've found is to click into one of these and then use your mouse wheel, if you have a mouse wheel, and start turning it. Now we want to turn it directly backwards, so this is the wrong thing to turn. See, it's turning to the right. We don't want it turned right, so I'll hit reset. I'll go into the X rotation. I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel up, and that's incorrect. It's moving forward. We want it to go backwards, so we know that it needs to go backwards, and it's negative 6 point something. All we need to do is change it to negative 90 because we want it to go straight back in a 90 degree angle. So negative 90 and hit return. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's actually rotated 90 degrees. And then we'll go to the right side. So the right side, we want to hit G and grab one of these points. Then I'm going to hit T, and again we need the right coordinates, and it's 0.2222 for both X and Y, so that doesn't really matter. So I'm going to do copy, Command C, go to point of origin, go to Y and hit paste, Command V. That's the incorrect one. It went up. So I'll hit reset, do X, and now it's moved over to the right. It's hard to see, but it's right where my crosshair is. And then we do the same thing. Now that that point of origin has changed, we'll go ahead and rotate. Let's go under Y. And I clicked on it, and I'm rotating it backwards, and that's the correct way to turn it. So we need to make this 90 degrees. Not negative 90, but 90. And hit return, and that bends it backwards. We'll go to the left side, hit G, find the coordinate, so we'll select one of them, hit T, and it's negative 0.2222. So I'll copy it, Command C, go to set point of origin, and I think it's an X. It's probably wrong. Nope, that's right. So I pasted it into the X coordinate, and you can see the point, or the again, the pink crosshairs have lined up directly here, so that's where we want to fold it. I'll click on the X rotation under the X rotate layer XY and start rotating that. That's incorrect. See, I start moving it. Oops. And it's bending it forward. We don't want that, so hit reset. Go into Y rotation. And oh nope, I need to do negative 90. So I'm turning my mouse wheel, and you can see it's going negative, turning it backwards. So we'll go ahead and type in negative 90, and let's go to the bottom or back of the face, hit G, select this coordinate, hit T. We can see that it's negative 0.02222. So Command C to copy, go to set point of origin, and is it Y? I'm always guessing wrong. Okay, it is Y. Again, all you have to do to make sure you place it in the right coordinates is to check to see where your X is. That's really the most important part. Rotate layer, and nope, I guess wrong every time, I swear. So it's in the X rotation. I need to rotate it back, so it looks like it's positive as I rotate it. So we'll type in 90 and hit return. And then one other thing that you need to do when you're making a bunch of objects in 3D shapes in a group, double click the group, hit depth sort, sort layers by depth, and sort by true distance, and hit apply. That way, when you're rotating, you can see everything render correctly. So I'm going to select and make sure you select the group. Don't select just one of the layers and try and rotate it, because it's going to rotate by itself. You want to check everything by checking the group rotation. So click the group layer and then use the XY rotation tool. And now you can see when I turn this, we've got the head. I'm going to hit Command G to turn the grid off for a second so we can check our work. So I can turn the head up, turn it to the side, to the left and right, and everything looks good. Obviously we're missing the top of the head, but that's an easy fix. Even with the head rotated, I'm going to leave this rotated, and then I'm going to select the bottom. I'll duplicate that and call it the top, hit return. And now what I'm going to do with it rotated like this, I'm going to select the transform layer tool, and then I'm going to select the Z axis and click in it and use my mouse wheel to move that layer up or down. So I'm going to move it up to the top of the head. So it's right there. I'll select or hit Q, select the top of the head. So it turns checkered like that. And then right now it's the skin color, because remember we just duplicated the bottom of the head. We want to turn that to the hair color. And there you go. You have the head already created for your Minecraft character. So I'll select the head group and I'll select the rotation or rotate layer XY, and then we can check our character. Now the reason I did the bottom first is so we could have that pivot point be right at the base of the neck of our character. So now when we have the character looking forward, all we have to do is click and the character will just follow our cursor. So it's really easy to animate. So if I go in the timeline, have him look up, go to 18, have him look down, go to 36, turn his head to the right, go to 48, have it look up, and just keep going. So you can see it's really easy to animate the head by just using the layer XY rotation. And let me play that real quick so you can see. So we already have our head animated. So that's really easy. And what I'm going to do is go back to 0, and under the head group I'm going to just reset the entire head. And then because we're looking at the bottom of the head and you want to rotate it forward, I'll just hold Shift and Option and then left click and drag down, and that's going to just rotate it at 45 degrees. So we don't have to type in anything, we can just rotate it so it's looking forward. And we can just collapse that group for a second and then start on the arms. So for the arms, we're going to create a new group, and I'll just call this group left arm, and then make a vector and basically go through the same process we did for the head. It's going to be a little bit easier, hopefully a little bit faster too. So we're just going to call this front, and this will be the front of the arm. I'll drag that into the folder and turn the grid on, Command G. And right now, I don't think I said this at the beginning, but if you hold Command Shift G, the grid spacing is set to 20. So if you don't have it set, you can go ahead and type that in. But the lower the number, if I typed in 10, it'll split that grid up even more. And you can change the number to anything you want, but we'll just keep it at 20, just to keep everything the same and in proportion. So for the front, we'll go ahead and hit S for create shape, and we'll start with a square, and we'll just start at the corner and the base of the head with 4 pixels, or 4 squares I should say, out and 4 down. I'm going to hit Q, and select the color, and it's on the hair color because that's the last thing we did. Go ahead and turn that off, and then we'll select the light blue or whatever color you want the shirt to be, and go to Styles, New, and call it Shirt Color, and then hit S, and we'll create the rest of the arm. So we'll make this 4 by 8 pixels, and let's see, that's 4, there's 8, hit Q, select it, then we'll just change the shirt color to skin color, so we have that. And actually, let's go ahead and make the top of the arm. So we'll go vector, we'll call this top. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold this inward over the top of the arm. So I'll hit S, create the shoulder top, hit Q, change it to shirt color, and then from the top, or the front, we'll create the back. We'll just go ahead and duplicate it, call it back, hit T, oops, select everything, Command A, turn that around, and put this at the top, and then we'll duplicate that. We'll call this left, so this will be the left side, and I'll hold Shift down, grab that rotation corner, put it to the left, and then duplicate that, call it right, oops, right, hold Shift down, turn it the other way. And something else that I'm going to do is I'm going to add on the left and right of the arm, I'm going to hit S one more time, and I'm going to cover this square up with another, I'm just going to call it a shader. This way we can change the color of the shirt or the skin without changing the other colors. This is going to add some shading to the character. So I'll select this, deselect style, I'm going to select black, and then I'll go ahead and select the fill, and I'm going to turn the alpha way down to, let's do 25, and hit OK. And I'm going to place this over, actually let's name that a style too, we'll just call this shade, or shader, and new shader. I hit T. I'm just going to place it just above my right side arm. I'm going to hit Command C to copy that. I'm going to go to the left side and paste that and put it over here. That way it's just making a kind of shadow for the left and right side of the arm. So when we fold it up and move it around, it looks a little different from the front and back. So now we're just going to do the exact same thing we did for the head. I'll go ahead and hit G. I'm going to select this these coordinates, or just one coordinate, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to hit T, and we see that the coordinate for the X is 0.4444. So I'll copy that, select it, Command C, go to set origin point, and put it in the Y. Is it Y? No. Reset. There we go. So the pink arrow moved over here. I'll click on the rotate layer XY and start rotating it backwards. It's gonna be, let's see, negative 90. So we're bending that layer backwards. Go to the right, hit G, select that point, hit T. We see that it's negative 0.2222. Select that, copy, set point of origin, select Y, paste that. Dang it. I never picked the right coordinate. It's X. Move that point of origin so we can fold it and start rotating this. It's going to be just 90 degrees, not negative. Turn that one. Top, we're going to leave as is. Front, grab the top line and let's see, find the coordinate, copy it, set point origin. I give up. I never pick the right one. Reset, it's X. And then rotate it. See, watch, I'm not gonna pick the right one. I think it's X rotation. Okay, well, at least I picked the right one. This is gonna be 90. So that's rotating it back. And then top. Wait, no, back is what we need. So we need to rotate the back. Grab one of these points, hit T. I believe it's this one, the Y coordinate, 0.2222. We'll see. I'll paste it in Y. And that is the correct one. It did pop up to the top of this line. So even though the X is over here in the center, that is correct, because when we try and rotate it, it's going to rotate on that line. So we're going to go ahead and just type in -90. So it rotates backwards. And then we can check our work. Let's go ahead and hit Command G to turn off the grid. And make sure you select the folder and not any of the parts. And we'll go ahead and rotate it with the Rotate Layer XY. And we got that all folded back. And we are missing. I did something wrong though, because hold on. Let's go back. Reset that. Let's go ahead and set the point of origin for the entire group of the arm to right next to the head. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll select the top and select G, grab that point, hit T, copy the coordinate. We'll move the point of origin. Is it X? It is. So it's -0.2222, and I'm gonna move it up into the center. This I'm doing manually. Now I'm just clicking kind of to the center of the shoulder right there, and then make sure I have that -0.2222, just so it's right on the edge. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. You can actually move the point of origin wherever you want. I just like it kind of where the joint would actually be. So let's, now that it's moved, or actually we need to copy that. So what was it? Front? No. The top. Okay, we need to make that this point of origin for the top. So -0.2222. We'll move it up. And let's make sure that stays the same. So now when I grab it using the transform layer XY, it rotates where his shoulder should be. And we can reposition this too. But what's going on here? I feel like I'm missing. I rotated the one of these layers wrong. So we turn it, the left and right looks fine. And see how it's shaded? But the top, right? The right and left, where's the back? It seems like it's in the right place. Oh, I know what's wrong. I'm just leaving this in the video because I didn't, just like the head, we need to double click the group layer, go to depth sort, turn on sort layers by depth and sort by true distance, and then apply. And I think maybe that fixed it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we have the arm and it's all correct. We're missing the bottom of the hand. And again, just like the head, we'll do the same thing. Even with it rotated, we'll go ahead and select the top, and I'll duplicate it, and I'll call this bottom. And I'll hit Q and select the color. And you can't see it because it's overlaying part of another blue. But we'll just select skin color. And then just like the head. I'll go ahead and rotate this so you can see it better. So we have that bottom, but it's just overlapping the top right now. I'm going to rotate this at an angle that you can see, and then selecting the bottom, I'll hit Transform Layer Tool, select the Z axis, and I'm using my mouse wheel to just move it forward and get it right into place. And you can see that, let me zoom in, there's actually a little space in between, but if I use the mouse wheel and click back, there's also a space. So let me zoom in even more. So you can see right there, it's not quite to the edge. So I'm going to type in, right now it's at 0.6584. We'll type in 0.66, and that moves it a little bit forward. Let's type in 665. And that looks pretty close. Maybe 5.5. I think that's good enough. And yeah, that looks good. So now, this is a good time to show you why I put the shader on. When I rotate the arm, you can see that this color, it gives it a little bit more depth when I'm turning the arm. And the reason why we use the shader is so if we go to styles and change the skin color, you can see that the shader just keeps that shadow there without having to change anything else. So we can change the color of the character extremely fast without having to add more artwork or do anything else to change this color. And let me undo that. So now we have that, but you'll notice that the arm is not quite in the right place. So here's a good time to, I'm going to reset it, and I'll go ahead and hold Shift Option to rotate it down to its correct position, or what it should be. And now is a good time to go ahead and create a group layer for the entire character. So we're going to hit Group, or create a new group, call it Minecraft Character. And we're going to drag both of those folders into that character, or that folder, because we want to click on it and then rotate those together. So holding Shift and Option, now I'm just rotating it to the left. And you can see it's in the center, so that's the correct place, but we need to move the arm down. So I'm going to hit the left arm. I'll click on Transform Layer Tool, and we'll click on Z, and that's not the right one. Is it the Y? It's X or Y. Okay, it's the Y coordinate. So I'm clicking on it, moving my mouse down, and putting it right into position, right at the base of the head, or close to it. And again, let me zoom in. It's not quite level to the head, so if you want, so it goes between 10, negative 0.10, and negative 0.12. Let's change this to 11 and see how close that gets it to the edge of the head. I think that's pretty good. It's not perfect, but I think that'll work just fine. So let's grab the character folder, hold Shift and Option, rotate it back. And to make the right arm is extremely easy, because we'll just duplicate the left arm, call it right arm. Oops. Right arm. And we'll just move it over. And since we have that pivot point there, we'll go ahead and rotate it too. But let's go ahead and select the Transform Layer tool. Let's move the X position and scroll it over to the other side. I'll go ahead and select the character folder and give him a spin, holding Shift and Option just so I can kind of see all the angles. And it looks like it's lined up good. If I let go of Shift and Option, looks like it's rotating really good. Now again, you need to double click the character folder itself, just like you did with the head and the arm. And go ahead and depth sort again, and sort layers by depth and true distance. Again, this is just to make everything render correctly. So now, when we rotate our character, Everything renders correctly. The head's always in front. Well, not always. It depends on where your arm position is. Let's go to the right arm real quick and do one more thing. I'm going to hit T. Oops. Select transform layer. And I probably should unrotate this, but you can see that if I hover, you can get the rotation tool. And I'm just going to hold shift down, and I'm just going to turn it this way, and then adjust the X position again, move it next to the head. This way the pivot point, or the joint, if that's what you want to call it, is next to the head. So now we have an arm over here, and the left arm right here, and the head we can manipulate real easy. If you want the head to appear in front of the left and right arm, you can put it above on the stack and then just turn off depth sorting so it's in front, and hit OK. So depending on how you want to animate. So now the head's always in front, which is kind of nice too. And the right arm. And again, the pivot points are all in the correct place. So we have the head and the arms all done. So let's go ahead and reset the parts. I'll go ahead and set that back. And you can see when I'm resetting everything back to 0, everything's facing outward, but that's because of where we put the pivot points. So again, hold shift option to just rotate them in the right place. So now we've got the arms. Let's go ahead and do a new group. Call this body. And we'll just repeat the process again. Same thing. We'll go ahead and create a new vector. Call this front. And put that in the body folder. Turn the grid on, Command G. Some things, the grid looks a little turned. Oh, the Minecraft character. Okay, now it's facing forward. So let's go ahead and hit S. We'll go ahead and change it to the shirt color because we know we're going to make the top of the shirt. And we'll drag it down to there. Go ahead and hit S, create the pants color. So I'm just going to drag it, I think 3 pixels below, or 2 pixels below the arm, 1 pixel above it. And then I'll hit Q, select that. We'll make this a darker, turn off shirt color, and make that a darker blue. And then we'll call it pants color. So now we have the pants color, and let's go ahead and turn off, let's just hide the head group and the arms for now because we're just going to make the torso real quick. So now we have the front of the body. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Call this left side, or just left. I'm going to hit Command A to select it all, or T. What did I say? Just make sure you select everything. I hit T to select it, or activate it, and then hit Command A to select all. I'm going to hit T, move it over, and we know that the side of the body is only going to be the same as the feet. So we'll go ahead and hit G, grab the edges, left click and drag over them, hit T, and then just pull those over, and we'll make it 4 squares wide, or 4 pixels. It's not actually pixels, just squares. And then let's go ahead and hit S, and I'm going to select let's go ahead and draw a square or a rectangle. Hit Q and select that, and we'll just change this to shader. Again, I'm just doing this so I can put this on the side of the body and it'll kind of make it a different color. So now we have the left side. The right side is going to be really easy. We'll go ahead and duplicate that, call it right. And I'll do a Command A, select all, pull that over to the right side of the body, and then we'll go ahead and fold them in the correct position. Or actually, let's make the top and bottom real quick too. So we'll not duplicate. We'll go ahead and just do a new layer. Vector. This will be the top of the body or torso. So I'll just say top. I'll hit S. And we'll change it to shirt color. And make that 4 squares tall. And the width of the body, which is 8. And instead of doing the thing where we kind of move the bottom and top, we'll go ahead and just copy the top, rename it bottom, hit T, move it down, hit Q, select it, and change it to pants color. And I think I'm going to put a shader over the top too. So I'll go ahead and I'm just going to copy, paste. So it made another square the same size we need. Hit Q, select it, and change it to shader. Put it over the top. I'll go ahead and select G. Grab the bottom points, or just 1 point. Hit T. It's negative 0.2222. Copy it. Set point of origin. Oh, it's already at the right place. It's hard to see in the video, but the point of origin is already in the correct place. That's at 0. So I'll just hit the transform, or what is this? Rotate. Rotate layer XY. Oops. Rotate the X rotation backwards. So that's negative 90. Again, this is really easy to do because everything on Minecraft or these characters are just 90-degree angles, so it's really easy to figure out. Let's go to the right, hit G, select that, hit T, copy the X coordinate, paste it in the Y, or no, never get it right. Paste it in the X, and rotate it. And I'm rotating it the wrong way. See, I don't know what it is. I can never, ever guess the right thing. And I should be able to just easily remember it, but I don't. 90 degrees. Left. G. Select that point. Hit T. Copy the X. Paste it in X. And then rotate the Y rotation backwards. So it's negative 90. And then the bottom. Oh. Okay. Grab the bottom, hit T, is it the X? I don't know. Copy, paste. Nope. I don't think that's the right one. So we need the Y coordinate. Copy that. Paste it in the Y, and that's the right. Oh, look at that. I did it right first. Well, not really. Rotate the Y rotation. Nope. God. I swear. Okay, rotate it back, so 90 degrees in the X rotation. Double click our folder. Depth sort by layer, or depth sorting, sort layers by depth and true distance. And then let's go ahead and rotate everything. Selecting the folder, and I'm going to Command G to turn it off. So we've got this box here. We've got the top and bottom. Oops, let me move it down some. Got the top and bottom, and We're just missing the back. So we'll go ahead and do the back by duplicating the front. Call it back. Select transform layer tool, select Z, and just push it back. And that looked like it snapped right into place. So we don't even have to mess with the coordinates or anything. I'll select the body and turn it just so we can see everything again. That looks good. Turn the arms back on. Let's reset that. So, oops. So I don't want to move the body, instead of moving the body by turning it, we're always going to turn the body by selecting the character itself. So he turns with it like that. Oh, it's not in the right place though. It's up behind the head. So let's go ahead and selecting character, holding shift and option, we'll rotate him to the right. Select the body. Let's go ahead and just move him. Transform layer tool. Nope. Let's use Y. That's up and down. It's the Z axis. So we'll just go ahead and turn that so he's right in the center. Or really close. I think that's good. Now we'll go back to the character himself. And I'm going to turn depth sort back on the body just so that everything renders correctly. And there we go. Now we've got the body. Let's check everything again. Head's working good. Arms are still good. Got the shader on there. And grab that left arm. That looks good too. Let's rotate the entire body for a second just to kind of check the color. So I'm going to rotate him like this. Let's go to skin color. If I change the skin tone, that all changes really easy. Let's check the, let's see, eye color. We can check that, make sure that works. And hair, where's the hair? That looks good. Let me rotate. I just want to check the back of the head too. Okay, and pants. That looks good too. Check the bottom. Yeah, everything looks good. I'll do a Command Z to kind of undo everything. Go back to the regular colors. Oh, you know what else I'm going to do? Let's go ahead and put a shader on the head. Just because, see when I do that, when I change the skin tone? Well, you can see the reason why I have the shader on is because, like his face, the side of his head and the front of his face just blend together. So we're going to go into the face, or let's go to the left side. If I hit T, I'm going to go ahead and select that skin color. If I pull it, oops. Or actually, let's just do this. While we're on the left side, I'll hit S. I'm going to create a new shape. Even though this is turned, if I turn the grid on, the grid's turned too, so I can go ahead and just start drawing a shape. And it's already on shader. You can see right here the style. So I'm just going to put that shape over his side of his head. And now that's shaded. I'll go ahead and grab the entire character, spin him this way, select the left side, or no, right side, do the same thing, hit S, I'll start drawing a new shape. You can see it's already on shade. And I just hit A, and I'm just adding points and moving them in place. And they snap real easily to the grid, so I'll do Command G to turn that grid off. Now, I'll grab the character, and you can see now that just looks a little bit better. It kind of differentiates the face from the side of the head. So it just looks nicer. And I don't know if I'll do this in the tutorial, probably not, but for the face, you can do the same thing. You can, instead of using a shader though, I'll turn the grid on. So the Minecraft characters have lots of different pixel colors that make up their face. You can just start adding different shades of black to change. We'll turn the, let me select this square and just turn it off to none, and then make it black and turn this down. So basically you can make different pixel shades by grabbing a square and turning the opacity down, making it black, and then copy paste and copy paste, copy paste, oops, and then hitting Q and then just changing the value of the opacity. And let me turn the grid off so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So now we have different shades of color and different, it looks more pixelated, and you can use those shader type shapes and it'll still work with your skin color style. So if I change the skin color, those shaders will still be on there, so it still looks pixelated. So just another cool tip or trick, I guess, if you really want it to look like a Minecraft character. But I'm going to keep it simple. Oops. And for those of you who've watched all the way to this point, thank you, because it's I know it's really long, but the legs are going to be the exact same thing as the arms. So if you want to start creating your character, you can do so. You don't have to watch any more of this because I know it's pretty long, but I'm going to just continue on with the legs. Delete that. Oops. And finish this up. So we have our character. Spin him around. Actually, after I finish building the character, I am going to make another part to make the mouths and the face. But I'll mark that in the timeline so you can check it out. So there's that arm. Left arm, right arm. And you can see sometimes it depends on where the arms are. It clips into the body and head, but that's just because of how it's the position of the arm. It's just closer to the camera, so it's going to render that instead. But still, it's not a big deal. If you're making a Minecraft animation, I mean, it's going to look fine anyway, see? So you can have the arms and head move pretty easily. So let me, I'm going to reset everything real quick. Reset. Just so we're starting at the center again. Left arm. And then rotate the arms downward. And head forward. There we go. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and build the legs. We're just going to use the arms themselves. So, because we already have it built. Click left arm, duplicate, call it left leg. left. I'm really tired, man. I had a long day at work, so left leg. There we go. Okay. Now all we're going to do is select the transform layer tool and we'll move it over. Move the X position over right there, and then use the Y to move it down. And we'll kind of place it in halfway into the waist. We can move it again if we need to. It's not gonna have, it doesn't need to be perfect. So now we're just gonna change the colors and move the shirt a little bit. Actually, let's move this all the way down so we can really see what we're working with. Okay, so now that we have the left leg, let's go ahead and do this. Start with the front because that's what we can see. I'm gonna hit Q, select the shirt color because it's actually part of his shoulder, and just change this to pants color. And we'll select the skin color, and we'll go ahead and turn this into a gray. Oh, turn that off. Turn it to gray, and then we'll call this shoe color. Okay. And I'm going to hit G while I'm on the front, and Command G to turn the grid on. And G, grab those 2 points, hit T, and move those down. And the shoe's going to be like 2 squares high, so we'll just leave it like that. We'll go ahead and let's select the top. Hit Q, select the top of the pants, change that to pants color. And then go ahead and I'm going to rotate the entire character just so we can see the side of the leg. And is that left? Yep. Hit G, select the 2 midpoints, or it's going to grab the skin color and the shirt color, and we'll just move those down. Oops. They should snap into place, so you can just drag them down. We'll do the same thing. Hit Q. Now the shader is already over the sides, so we'll hit T and just, oops. Let's do this. Let's select the shader and just move it off for a second. And then we'll hit Q and select the pants and make that pants color, and then the bottom, we'll change that to shoe. And then go ahead and put the shader back into place. And it just snaps in there. Let's rotate that leg, or actually the whole character. I'm just going to keep it all together. We'll rotate it over here to the back of the leg. Ah! Do the same thing. Select back. Q. Change this to pants. Change this to shoe. Hit G. Grab those points. Move them down. And then left, or I mean right side of the leg. Let's rotate the character a little more so we can see what we're doing better. Select the right side. I'm gonna hit T. I know that shader is there, so I'm just moving that, hitting T and moving it over. Q, select that color, change it to pants. Change this to shoe. Hit G, grab those points, move them down. They're gonna snap into place. Hit T, grab the shader and put it back into place. And I think we've colored it. Oh no, the bottom of the shoe. So we'll grab the entire character. Let's rotate him down. Bottom. We'll just change that to shoe. There we go. Let's go back to the character, reset him so he's facing forward-ish. Is he? Oh yeah. Sometimes it doesn't render right until you move it a little bit. So I'm going to hit Command G, turn that grid off, and let's go ahead and grab that leg, left leg, and use Y, and we'll just rotate it so it's up into the body a little bit. Let's check to make sure it's in the right place though. I'll select the character, hold Shift and Option, rotate him to the side. And he's not quite lined up with the body. Let's select the leg, transform layer, and is it Z? Yeah. Okay, so Z is controlling it going back and forth. So, okay, 0.025 is a little too much. So let's try 0.2. I'll erase the 5. That's closer. 2.2. No, that's going the wrong way. How about 1.8? 1.9. Seven. I'm just kind of guessing. I'm looking right here in the center and trying to line up the leg to the front of the waist. 1.6, 1.5, 1.6, 1.55. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. Let's try 1.4. There we go. That looks pretty dead on to me. Again, doesn't even have to be perfect, but let's check him out. Let's see how his leg rotates. Left leg. Oh, you know what? I want to put the joint or the rotation in the center of the leg instead of right there. So let's turn everything off for a second. I'm going to reset the leg and turn the grid on. And with the group layer selected, I'm going to hit set origin point and just click it right in the center. Get it as close as I can, moving that pink arrow crosshair right there. And I think that might actually, oops, let's go ahead and rotate that down. That might have moved it though when I changed the point of origin, so let's turn him. Nope, it's in the right place. So now his leg pivots right from the center. And that might not be a good thing. Let's turn him. No, I think that's okay. Because it kind of disappears into his waist when it's like that. So we'll leave it like that. I'm going to undo a couple. Left leg. So the right leg will just duplicate. Right leg. Transform layer. And use the X coordinates and move that over to the side. It's not quite lined up, so let's... okay, so it jumps from 0.43, 0.45. How about 0.44? 0.44, 0.45. Okay, so it's 0.44 something. I'm going to leave it at 0.445. That looks pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect. So there it is. There's the Minecraft character built in 3D. And for the next part here, so we can shrink him down. If you grab the group, spin him around. If you click on any part of him, you can move the arms, legs. And again, remember, if you hold Shift and Option down, when you rotate stuff, it'll just do it at different degrees. So see how I'm grabbing the arm and twisting it? It's doing it at a 45-degree angle. So just something to keep in mind if you wanted to kind of experiment. So there he is, and grabbing the character folder, we can turn him. Real easy to do a bird's eye view, just turn him downward or upward for looking from the ground. And that's it. For the next part, actually I'll make another video, part 2, because this video is so long. But that's how you make a Minecraft character in Anime Studio or MOHO Pro. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. And I'll see you next time.